Good morning, beautiful. It's great to see you. And it's a bit windy and noisy out here, so I'm giving myself permission to go inside, but I want to show you stuff before I do that, right? Because the garden is doing its thing, so we got to enjoy it. We had some wind yesterday, but look at this. We have plenty of cassia flowers, and with the Campanula Elizabeth full blossom in the background. That's just the poster shot. I just love this. Good morning, Andrew. Isn't that gorgeous? There's nothing missing, really. You know, it's just beautiful. And even back here, if I walk through the garden, I've got shallots in there, which is slowly growing. You know, yes, we have grass. There are places I let the grass grow because it's so beautiful. You know, I like this to be a bit wild. And there's the view up the terraces, and we're looking up the back. You can see the kowhai trees and the flax. Flax isn't so obvious, but you can see it there. It's growing on top of the crib wall, like the retaining wall, I beg your pardon. It's probably, pretty hard to see that Thalictrum there is still not in flower, but I staked it and I tied it up so it didn't get blown over because the winds were pretty strong. My husband noticed what the weather was doing, so I went outside in my lunch hour and tied it up so it wouldn't be blown over, because it's very sad when you have this huge flower head and then it snaps. So here we have ferns and the tail end of the granny's bonnet. Good morning, Sanchia. Oh, and look, the very third Campanula flower. And I say three because, you know, there's this one which is just starting to bloom. Of course, I can't get focus on this because the camera's confused. There you go, now you can see it. It's just a single flower, but this one makes stems and it starts at the top, as you can see. And then we have this one which just keeps going more or less all year around. And then we have this one. So this is the garden of Campanulas. And of course we have the tree fern, which at the end of the season I will remove because I don't want a tree fern growing here. And the lemon tree, looking very leafy, and the very exciting red currants that actually in some places are starting to turn red. Isn't that cool? I'm going to have to cover them up, keep them away from the birds soon, but this is where it's really obvious there's a lot of them. The bush really goes crazy. Let's not forget to enjoy coming out of the dark, the rose. It is the season of the climbing rose, and yeah, it's looking a little bit wind battered, but isn't that fabulous? It's just beautiful. So it definitely blew and rained, and I took precautions, but there you go. Nothing got broken, it just got battered a bit. And you can see, this got broken, but we can live without that. See, I tied a few things up because these big long branches, they tolerate most things, but it was a very strong wind, so I decided precautions were in order. So there you go, it's just going to light up soon and be covered in flowers. Last but not least, because, you know, we have to appreciate this. You can see why I picked the first Japanese iris flower yesterday, because the wind was strong and they get shredded. But isn't that beautiful? There's another one's come out. So they're fabulous flowers and worth waiting for. And let's not forget the Nigella. And you can see the Spanish iris in the background there as well. So this is a bit of a wild garden. I like wild things. There we go. Let's get up close to this. This is a lovely fresh flower. Isn't it beautiful? So, there we are. A bit of a garden tour. Now I better walk down through these very random steps that, you know, you've got to navigate with care. So, and the sky is completely blue. After all the clouds and the rain and the wind and everything, the sky is empty of clouds. So, today I want to talk about something that's close to my heart because I'm doing it all the time. And that is the whole business of being who I desire to be in my future, even though I am currently still living my normal life, whatever that is. And I decided to talk about it because I've just become more and more aware, but just in the last few days, I've had a few things come up and I thought, oh my God, it's that subtle, it's that refined in my awareness now. And more than that, because I'm really practicing this business of being who I desire to be in my future now, the synchronicities are starting to show up. And that's the piece that I wanted to sort of glue in there, is that when you get better at being who you desire to be, independent of your circumstances and what's going on and your body and how long it's taking and everything else, the fact that you don't know how you're going to get to your future ceases to be as important. And I can only say that from experience. It's no longer this burning, scary question inside me of, oh, how am I going to do that? Because I can't see how, and how am I going to do that? Because I can't see how. You know, it just used to eat holes in me. And because I'm more and more becoming the person that is who I'm choosing to be in my future, and you know, the future I dream of is crazy, it's insane, it's ridiculous, it's impossible, but I feel it now. And because I feel it now, I'm not looking for it so much. I don't really look for it much at all. I just know that it's coming to me, and I feel that more and more and more clearly inside myself. And that's probably, realistically, because I feel like the person who has it. So, because I feel like I've got it, the fact that it's not there in my three-dimensional life yet doesn't bother me so much. And I have this just kind of, I know it's coming, but it's not a big thing. And it's really interesting because having gotten step by step better at being who I desire to be in my future life, and kind of living my future in the present. You know, I'm in the middle of my past present life because my present life is an artifact and a product of my past, but at the same time I'm living my future present life. So that's the 3D, 5D conundrum. You're going to have one foot in three dimensions where you're living in the quote unquote real world, and the other world, other foot in the other world where it's not, you can't sense it with your senses yet, but you feel it. Hi Jen, great to see you. I've got 0 comments today, none. So if you want me to say hello to you, you've got to drop me a comment, period. I'm not going to see otherwise, unless Facebook happens to show me your little face. Oh, drop me, I think you've got to hit the love or something, I don't know. Anyway, it's gorgeous to see you. If you're here with me, yay. So it's the most paradoxical thing, that the more I become aware of, oh, hang on a minute, this is not who I'm choosing to be. That thought that I just had does not become me. Literally, it's not becoming to me. If I am choosing to be an elevated human, if I am choosing to be that person that I'm really starting to know, you know, I do this every morning in my meditations, that thought that I just thought and the feeling that went with it isn't who I am. Not isn't who I want to be, it isn't who I am. And there's this conflict and there's a contrast, and we know these things by contrast. And, you know, we spoke about contrast yesterday indirectly, and that you're starting to move into being this person, and then something triggers you and you fall out of it, and by contrast you think, shit, that doesn't feel good. So it keeps on happening, but the gap gets narrower in some ways. Well, it does. It tends to get narrower until something comes along and, you know, it's like some new tin of worms opens up inside you, and you think, oh shit, I didn't realise that I still had this really powerful reaction to this thing that I've actually been having, since I was at least 8 or 10, speaking from something that just happened the other day. I thought, oh my God, I can't keep having this reaction to that stimulus. I just can't do that. It isn't who I am anymore. But it still goes off like a freight train inside my body at this, you know, certain stimuli. See the thing, hear the thing, boom! That has to change. Robin, good morning! It has to change. And, you know, I'm talking really powerful reactions. Oh my God. So, that process of becoming more and more familiar with who you are in your future, of course, means you have to know some small corner, some tiny idea of who you want to be in your future. You're not going to know all of it. I would, if you'd asked me 2 years ago, before I even started doing this work that I now adore, that I've learned from Dr. Joe Dispenza, I could not have imagined who I have become to date. And if you told me what I am now imagining of my future life, I would have looked at you like you were crazy. No concept, no neural nets, nothing inside me that even would remotely relate to who I know I am now becoming. And I guarantee another 2 years it'll be the same. Probably in another 6 months it'll be the same. It moves faster now. I'm getting better at this. So this is the dance, who I've been, who I'm becoming, moment to moment. Who am I going to embody? And if you don't know, it's okay. It really is okay. If you can't imagine how this massive dream that you have of financial freedom or getting well or being happy or having a loved one or living a purposeful life, if you can't imagine how in 19,000 lives you can work out how that could come to pass, don't get stuck on that like I did for so long. You do know how it's going to feel, at least a little bit, because if you didn't have some idea that you were going to be happier or freer or whatever it was when you have XYZ, then you wouldn't want it. So stop focusing on the fact that you've got no idea how it's going to happen. Start focusing on how it's going to feel when you are there. Make that a daily practice to become and embody and do that, which, I'm not talking about how you do that today. But what happens is the more you start to think and feel and behave like the person you are going to be in your future, well, then you become that person now. And then because you are sending a more coherent signal to the universe, you're thinking like that abundant person or that healthy person or that happy person. So that's a signal that all through your day, all through your conscious waking hours and probably your unconscious hours as well, you are emanating to the universe, brainwaves, electrical charge. And your emotional state, how you consistently, sum total averaged out of everything that you feel all the time, that is what is drawing your life in. It can only draw in what it resonates in frequency with. Which is why it's so important, we talked about it yesterday, even if you've just suffered the biggest bereavement in your life, to just occasionally make a conscious choice to change your state so that you're not consistently blasting your body with those hormones and those resonances, and you're not saying to the universe, just bring me more of this, please. Yeah. I'm not going to revisit that conversation. We'll run out of time. We're going to run out of time anyway, but I want to stay with this one. So the more we consistently choose who we're going to be, how it feels, what we're going to focus on, what you find is, because you're changing the signal that you are sending to the universe and you're changing what is emanating from you, which is literally the magnetic charge. It becomes like the funnel that happens when you pull a plug out of a bathtub or a sink. It's a vortex. It literally draws the things that you desire to you. And if you don't know what those things are, that doesn't matter. You do know how you're going to feel when they arrive. And it turns out that it's the feeling that is what the universe matches. If you know specifically what the thing is, that's great. But if you don't, it doesn't really matter. Because you can just start with, I know I want to be financially free and I know I want to be happy. And I know that when I'm financially free, I'm going to take a holiday. Maybe that's all you know. So then you can just go into, and I know that holiday is going to be on a beach somewhere. And right now, if I think about where and when and how much, it's all too scary. So I'll just focus on the beach. I do a ton of my creation work internally present on Petone Beach. It's a beach about, 15, 20 minutes drive from here. There's so much I have done on Petone Beach, sitting in my lounge. Creating myself, creating my future, how it feels. when I am living the day, when I'm there with those people and that those things are done, and this is what it's like, and this is how I feel, and I revisit that often in different ways as it comes to me. And what I am seeing literally in the last little while, weeks maybe, because it's been happening, but it's getting beyond car parks now. People are starting to show up, opportunities. And they're not all the perfect opportunity, but they're opportunities, and I get to look at them and go, this one resonates, no, that one doesn't. But the fact that they're coming tells me that the universe is saying, oh, would you like this? Would you like that? Would you like this one? What do you think of this one? Does this resonate with you? Where's your resonance today? Who are you choosing to be? What fits for you? And the more I do that, and the more I choose and select, the more I'm saying to the universe, I want this. I want this. Look at this. Look at this, universe. See this in me. Reflect this back to me. Give me more of this. This is who I am. Give me more of this. And it starts to come. And I have much more clarity about how my crazy, massive, enormous, ridiculous, how in the hell would I ever do that vision is going to be accomplished now than I did, 3 months ago. Yeah, truly. It starts to come clear because I'm becoming that person. I'm really starting to feel like that person. Like you've heard me say, I now feel wealthy. Even though, you look at my bank balance and I've still got the same challenges most people do. But I used to have exactly the same kind of bank balance. Really, I've had the same, more or less the same financial situation for, 10, 15 years. And I know how I used to feel about it. And now I'm just so grateful. And I feel so wealthy. And there is a little bit more money than there used to be. And it's just a taste of what's coming, and that's going to free me to accomplish more and serve more and unleash more and be more satisfied with my efforts. And so, success builds success. That's just what happens. So the more you become it and the less you focus on, I can't see how it's going to happen, the more it comes to you. So it's like you have to let it go to receive it. It's just the weirdest thing. And I never really understood that until it became something that I actually started to do. And of course, I've had to get very deep inside myself to make this kind of change. There is no denying that the changes that are happening for me are profound, and they're happening because I now know, at the very least in my meditation space, I now know how to make my heart coherent, and I know how to make my brain coherent. And there's now a ton of neurological architecture in my brain because I fired and wired the process that I'm doing. My brain and body know what to expect. There's not so much, it's coming, but there's always something new. There's always something new. There's more energy moving. There's more things releasing. My body is changing. I'm changing. And every time I go back, of course, I'm different. It's not the same experience. It's never the same experience. And so I do a lot of my creation of me in that space. And it's amazing. Oh my God. Wow, am I so grateful that I get to do this every day and I get to share it with you, I'm always coherent when I come on because I've not long been meditating, gone to the top of the hill, taking the picture, come back. I'm all blissed out with the beauty of the world. I'm still feeling sometimes the energy that's hit me or changed me or released in me. I really feel like I've got a new body today. It's different. Not even quite sure how. I have ideas. And I'm becoming that person. And the synchronicities come, and they do come from out of the blue, and you get little nudges. You just think, I need to connect with that person. I don't even really know why. There's just a resonance, and there's these words and these pictures, but there's something in me that says you need to connect with that person. That's extremely unusual for me. Really, really unusual for me to actually do that. It just didn't happen, but it's happening. Doors are opening. And it's because I've changed. And I know I'm not talking specific stories. I just want to encourage you, really. But if you haven't got a clue, if you just don't know, You can't work it out, and you've banged your head against a brick wall until your forehead was bleeding and your heart was broken, which is how it was for me, trying to work it out. You can stop. You can stop. Just get busy creating who you are when it's already happened. And then leave the rest of it to the divine, to the universe, to source, to, whatever words you use. Because you become that person that's going to find you, and you will not have to go looking for it. You won't have to chase it. You won't have to try. You won't have to effort, because you realise that when you're chasing and trying and pushing and struggling and competing, that you're feeling like it's somewhere over there and you're here and you're apart from it. And as soon as you're separate from it, you're separate from it. It's not there. It's gone. It's like, it's over there. I've got to run after it. But when you're being that person, it's here. It's now. And so, of course, it's going to find you. And that's really what I wanted to say today, because it's really real for me at the moment. And it's indescribable having this experience. But maybe you get a sense of it. I'm going to show you the golden elderberries and the day, because it's glorious. I told you there's not a cloud in the sky. And it's Friday, which means there's going to be resonant replays over the weekend. Big love. I'll see you on Sunday, Monday. Bye-bye.